आज हमारे साथ जो एक्सपर्ट हैं हमारे फिजिक्स के लिए, फिजिक्स का जो चैप्टर 1 आपके सामने आज हमारे साथ जो एक्सपर्ट डिस्कस करेंगे, वो हैं श्री अरविंद निहारा जी। अरविंद जी, आपका बहुत-बहुत स्वागत है हमारे चैनल में। आपका हम स्वागत करते हैं सभी व्यूअर्स की तरफ से, बनमार्क सॉल्यूशन की तरफ से। अरविंद सर के बारे में मैं अगर आपको बताऊं, अरविंद सर बहुत लंबे अरसे से पीजीटी फिजिक्स के पद पर काम कर रहे हैं। ही इज वर्किंग एज अ पीजीटी फिजिक्स इन बालिका बिरला बालिका विद्यापीठ पिलानी राजस्थान में, जो कि एक रेजिडेंशियल स्कूल है। एमएससी एमटेक है सर, एमएससी भी हैं और साथ में सर ने एमटेक भी किया हुआ है। तो डेफिनेटली फिजिक्स की कह लीजिए दो बड़ी डिग्री सर के पास एक साथ अवेलेबल है। आईसीटी लीड टीचर हैं सर, और सर्टिफिकेट ऑफ मेरिट अवार्ड है बेंचमार्क पीआई और बेंचमार्क रिजल्ट के लिए सर को सम्मानित किया गया है। कई बार सीबीएसई के जो प्रोग्राम्स होते हैं, सीबीएसई के जो वर्कशॉप्स होते हैं, उनमें भी सर का सहयोग रहता है, सर का योग। और ना केवल सर ने सर सीबीएसई बोर्ड को पढ़ा रहे हैं, बल्कि सर को ग्रेजुएट लेवल और पोस्ट ग्रेजुएट लेवल की क्लासेस पढ़ाने का भी अनुभव रहा है। सर, आपका स्वागत करता हूं मैं हमारे चैनल पर। मैं नेहरा सर, आपका स्वागत है। मैं आपको हैंड ओवर करता हूं, क्योंकि आप बच्चों के साथ में।
Okay, thank you, sir. Good afternoon, all of you. First of all, I want to thank Dr. Asad Ahmed, sir, for providing me this platform so that I can share my experience, my knowledge with the students of class 12th so that they will be benefited with this session in this pandemic year where the teachers and the students connected virtually. So this session is generally divided into three parts. The major part is multiple choice questions. Then the second part is fill in the blanks. And the third part is true false. So can we start, sir? So the first question is, what is the value of minimum force acting between two charges placed at 1 meter apart from each other? And the options are ke square, option B ke, option C is ke by 4, and option D is ke square by 2. What is the value of minimum force acting between two charges placed at 1 meter apart from each other? So the answer is option A, that is ke square. So here we want to find the force between two charges. So that is given by the Coulomb's law, that is F is equal to K Q1 Q2 upon R square. And in this case, we have the minimum charge Q is E, so we get K into E upon R square, and R is given, that is 1 meter, so it is Ke square. Now question number 2. A glass rod acquires charge by rubbing it with silk cloth. The charge on glass rod is due to option A, friction, option B, conduction, option C, induction, and option D, radiation. So a glass rod acquires charge by rubbing it with silk cloth. So the charge on glass rod is due to what? Option A, friction, B, conduction, C, induction, and D, radiation. The answer is A. So the charge on glass rod is due to friction. Next. Now the third question is, what will be the value of electric field at the center of the electric dipole? Option A, 0. Option B, equal to the electric field due to one charge at center. Option C, twice the electric field due to one charge at center. and option D, half the value of electric field due to one charge at center. What will be the value of electric field at the center of the electric dipole? So its answer is C, that is twice the electric field due to one charge at the center. Because due to point charge, it is E is equal to kq upon r square, and if you want to find the electric field at the center, so it is a vector sum, so both the electric field may be added up, so twice the electric field due to one charge at center. The answer is option C. Next question, sir. Now question 4. Excess charge on a conducting metal sphere present at. The excess charge on a conducting metal sphere present at on the surface of sphere. Option B, inside the sphere. Option C, outside the sphere. And option D, both inside and outside of sphere. So the answer is option A, on the surface of sphere. Here it is the excess charge. So in conductor there are equal number of electrons and protons, but if there is any number of excess charge, so they are present on the surface of sphere. Next question, sir. Question 5. In the process of charging, the mass of negatively charged body, option A, increases. Option B, decreases. Option C, remains constant. And option D, none of the above. In the process of charging, the mass of negatively charged body. So the answer is option A. When we charge a body with negatively charged, so what will happen? It will gain electrons from the other body. So the mass of the body which is negatively charged, it increases. Next. Now question 6. 4 charges plus 8q minus 3q plus 5q and minus 10q are kept inside a closed surface. What will be the outgoing flux through the surface? Option A, (26 voltmeter). Option B, 0 voltmeter. Option C, 10 voltmeter. And option D, 8 voltmeter. Four charges are given here. So the answer is B, because we have to find the flux, and flux is what? 1 upon epsilon naught into total charge enclosed. And if we add these 4 charges, the total charge is 0. So the flux outgoing flux through the surface is 0. Next. Now question 7. Electric field intensity due to a short dipole remains directly proportional to r, where r is the distance of point from the center of dipole. So its option A is r square, B r to the power 3, C r to the power minus 2, and D r to the power minus 3. So electric field intensity due to a short dipole remains directly proportional to r square, r cube, r to the power minus 2, or r to the power minus q. So the answer is D. It is r to the power minus 3. Here electric field intensity of short dipole is what? E is equal to Kp upon r cube. On equatorial, it is 2 Kp upon r cube. So it is directly proportional to 1 upon r cube. So that's why the answer is D, that is r to the power minus 3. Next, sir. Now question number 8. On charging a neutral balloon, its size, option A, increases, option B, decreases, option C, remains same, and option D, no relation between charge and size. On charging a neutral balloon, its size, so the answer is A, its size increases. So due to the repulsion of charge, its size increases. Next, sir. Question number 9. Electric field lines contracts lengthwise. It shows, option A, repulsion between same charges, option B, attraction between opposite charges, option C, no relation between force and contraction, and option D, electric field lines does not move on straight path. So electric field lines contract lengthwise. It shows, the answer is B, that is attraction between opposite charges. So electric field moves from positive to negative charge. So there is attraction between opposite charges. Next. Question number 10. The unit of electric dipole moment is, option A, cm, option B, mc, option C, both A and B, and option D, none of the above. So the unit of electric dipole moment is cm or mc or both A and B or none of the above. So the answer is A, that is coulomb meter. It is not mc because it is not meter coulomb. When we write m before c, it will become millicoulomb. So the answer is A, that is coulomb meter. And this B can be read out as millicoulomb. So the answer is A, that is coulomb meter. Next. Question 11. When a body is earth connected, electrons from the earth flow into the body. This means the body is, option A, this means the body is uncharged, B, charged positively, option C, charged negatively, or option D, that is an insulator. Yes, so the answer is option A. This means the body is uncharged. Next. Question number 12. There are two charges, plus 1 microcoulomb and plus 5 microcoulomb. The ratio of the forces acting on them will be, option A, option A is 1:5, option B 1:1, option C 5:1, and option D 1:25. So the ratio of the forces between 1 microcoulomb and 5 microcoulomb. So the answer is option B, that is 1:1. If we find the force on first due to second and force on second due to first, we get the same force, that is 1:1 ratio. The given figure shows the electric lines of force emerging from a charged body. If the electric field at A and B are EA and EB respectively, and if the displacement between A and B is R, then option A, electric field at A is greater than electric field at B. Option B, EA is less than EB. Option C, EA is equal to EB upon R, or EA is equal to EB upon R square. So the answer is option A, because if we see the figure, the strength of these are very close to each other. So here the strength of electric field at A is greater than the strength of electric field which is at B. Next question, sir. Now question number 14. If ABC is an equilateral triangle, a charge plus Q is placed at each corner, the electric intensity at O will be option A, KQ upon R square, option B, KQ upon R, option C, 0, and option D, 3 KQ upon R square. So the answer is option C, that is 0, because we have to find the electric field at O. So due to B and C, the electric field is in the opposite direction, and we see the resultant of these two electric field is in the direction of charge which is at A, and due to this charge which is placed at A is in opposite direction. So both are equal but in opposite direction. So the electric field intensity at O will be 0. So the resultant is 0. Next question. Question number 15. A metallic solid sphere is placed in a uniform electric field. The lines of force follow the path in figure as option A, that is 1, option B, 2, option C, 3, and option D, 4. So out of these 4 options, option D is correct, because in this particular case, these lines radially goes inwards and leaving the surface normally, and inside the conductor electric field will not flow. So option 4, that is option D, is correct. Next. Now question 16. Flux coming out from a positive unit charge placed in air is option A, epsilon naught, option B, epsilon naught inverse, option C, 4 pi epsilon naught to the power minus 1, and option D, 4 pi epsilon naught. Flux coming out from a positive unit charge placed in air is, so the answer is B, that is epsilon naught to the power minus 1, because here the charge is given which is unit positive charge. So we know that flux is what? Q upon epsilon naught. So here we get 1 upon epsilon naught because positive charge is given. So it is 1 upon epsilon naught, and 1 upon epsilon naught can be written as epsilon naught to the power minus 1. So the answer is option B. Next. Question 17. An electric dipole is kept in non-uniform electric field. It experiences option A force and a torque, option B, a force but not a torque, option C, a torque but not a force, and option D, neither a force nor a torque. Here the electric dipole is kept in non-uniform electric field. So the answer is option A. Here the electric field is non-uniform. So the answer is a force and torque. It experience both force as well as torque when it is placed in non-uniform electric field. Next. Now question 18. An electric dipole of moment P is placed normal to the lines of force of electric field intensity E. Then the work done in deflecting it through an angle of 180 degree is option A, PE, option B, plus 2 PE, option C, minus 2 PE, and option D, 0. Electric dipole moment P is placed normal to the lines. So the answer is D, that is 0, because initially it is placed normal to the field and we rotate it to 180 degree. That means here your theta 1 is 90 degree and theta 2 is 270 degree. So cos theta 1 and cos theta 2, cos 90 and cos 270, both are 0. So if you multiply it with any number or any term, it is 0. So the answer is option D, that is 0. Next. Now question 19. The torque acting on a dipole of moment P in an electric field E is option A, E cross P, option B, P cross E, option C, both A and B, and option D, none of the above. So the answer is B, it is P cross E. Next. Question number 20. A molecule the dipole moment P is placed in electric field of strength E. Initially the dipole is aligned parallel to the field. If the dipole is to be rotated to be anti-parallel to the field, the work required to be done by an external agency is option A, minus 2 PE, option B, minus PE, option C, PE, and option D, 2 PE. So the answer is D, that is 2 PE. Here your theta 1 is 0 and theta 2 is 190 degrees. So we rotate the dipole from 0 to 180 degree. So cos 0 is 1 and cos 180 is minus 1. So minus 1 and minus 1 is minus 2. So if you multiply minus 2 with minus PE, you get 2 PE. So it is option D, that is 2 PE. Next. Now question number 21. Charge of 2 coulomb is placed at the center of a cube. What is the electric flux passing through one phase? Option A, 1 upon 3 epsilon naught, 1 by 4 epsilon naught, 2 upon epsilon naught, 3 upon epsilon naught. Yes, so the answer is option A, that is 1 upon 3 epsilon naught, because the charge is 2 coulomb and it passes through one of the face of the cube. So it is q upon 1/6 of the total charge upon epsilon naught. So it is 1 by 3 epsilon naught. Next. Now question number 22. A surface S is equal to 10 j cap is kept in an electric field E is equal to 2 I cap plus 4 j cap plus 7 k cap. How much electric flux will come out through the surface? Option A, 40 units, option B, 50 units, option C, 30 units, and option D, 20 units. So the answer is A, that is 40 units. Because these are vector quantities, so E dot S, so it is 10 j cap and 4 j cap. Simply j dot j is 1, so that is why 4 into 10 is 40 units. So the answer is A, that is 40 units. Next. Now question number 23. An electric dipole is placed in an uniform electric field with the dipole axis making an angle theta with the direction of the electric field. The orientation of the dipole for stable equilibrium is option A pi by 6, option B pi by 3, option C 0, and option D pi by 2. So the answer is option C, that is 0, because in stable equilibrium the dipole moment and electric field both are parallel to each other. So the angle between these two is 0. Next. Now question number 24. A charge q is enclosed by a Gaussian spherical surface of radius r. If the radius is doubled, then the outward electric flux will option A be reduced to half, option B remains the same, option C be doubled, and option D increase 4 times. So the answer is option B, that is remain the same, because the flux is what? 1 upon epsilon naught into total charge enclosed. So it depends upon the charge and epsilon naught. So it is independent of the area of the surface or the radius of the surface. Next. Question number 25. When 10 to the power 19 electrons are removed from a neutral metal plate through some process, the charge on it becomes option A minus 1.6 coulomb, option B plus 1.6 coulomb, option C 10 to the power plus 19 coulomb, and option D 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb. When 10 to the power 19 electrons are removed from a neutral metal. So the answer is option B, that is plus 1.6 coulomb. Next question. Now question number 26. Among two discs A and B, first have radius 10 cm and charge 10 to the power minus 6 coulomb, and second have radius 30 cm and charge 10 to the power minus 5 coulomb. When they are touched, charge on both QA and QB respectively will be option A. QA is 2.75 microcoulomb and QB is 3.15 microcoulomb. Option B. QB is 2.75 microcoulomb and QA is 3.15 microcoulomb. Option C, QA is equal to QB, which is 5.5 microcoulomb, and option D, none of the above. So the answer is option C, that is QA is equal to QB, which is equal to 5.5 microcoulomb. Because when these two charges are in contact on both the surface, there is equal charge and half of total charge. So that is QA is equal to QB, which is equal to 5.5 microcoulomb. So the option C is correct. Next question. Question number 27. Two charges are at a distance d apart. If a copper plate of thickness d by 2 is kept between them, the effective force will be option A F by 2, option B 0. Option C 2f and option D 2f by 3. So the answer is option B, because here a copper plate of thickness d by 2 is kept between them. So the dielectric constant for metal is infinity. So we get 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught q1 q2 upon r square. So instead of epsilon naught, we know that K is equal to permittivity of medium to the permittivity of free space. So it is permittivity of medium can be replaced by K epsilon naught. So and K is infinity. So something divided by infinity you get 0. The answer is B, that is 0. Next. Now question number 28. Two parallel infinite line charges with linear charge densities plus lambda coulomb per meter and minus lambda coulomb per meter are placed at a distance of r in free space. What is the electric field midway between the two line charges? Option A 0, option B 2 lambda by pi epsilon naught r, option C lambda upon pi epsilon naught r, and option D 1 by 2 pi epsilon naught r. So the answer is option B, that is 2 lambda upon pi epsilon naught r, because for infinite line of charge we get E is equal to 1 upon 2 pi epsilon naught lambda upon r, and in this case if we put lambda instead of r, we put r by 2, and we have two charges, so we multiply by 2, so 2 get cancel out, and r by 2, that 2 goes upward, so you get option B, that is 2 lambda upon pi epsilon naught r. Next. Question number 29. If EA be the electric field strength of a dipole, short dipole at a point on its axial line, and EE that on the equatorial line at the same distance, then option A, EA is equal to 2 EE. Option B, EE, that is electric field at equatorial line, is twice of axial line, electric field at axial line. Option C, electric field at axial line is equal to electric field at equatorial line, and option D, none of these. So in this case, the answer is option D, that is none of these. Generally, most of you are thinking about option A, that is EA is equal to twice of electric field which is at equatorial line. But in this case, these are bold, and this electric field E is bold, that means it represents vector. That means in this particular case, EA is equal to minus 2 EE, because electric field at axial line and equatorial line, they are opposite in direction, and this bold sign represent that these are vector quantity. If these are not bold, then the answer is option A, that is EA is equal to twice of EE, that is electric field at axial line is twice of electric field at equatorial line. But suppose if this is in the vector form, then it is equal to axial line is equal to electric field which is at axial line is equal to minus twice of equatorial line. Okay, so the answer is D, that is none of these. Question number 30. Charge Q is distributed over a ring, then the force on charge Q placed at the center of the ring will be option A 0, option B Q by 4, option C Q by 2, and option D is Q. Yes, so the answer is option A, that is 0, because charge is placed at the center and charge capital Q is distributed over a ring. So the net force is 0 at the center. Next question. Question number 31. An arbitrary surface encloses a dipole. What is the electric flux through this surface? Option A, Q upon epsilon naught. Option B, 2Q upon epsilon naught. Option C, 1 upon epsilon naught. And option D, 0. So the answer is option D, that is 0, because in this case, in that enclosed surface, a dipole is placed. and you know that flux is equal to 1 upon epsilon naught total charge enclosed, and the net charge of dipole is 0. That's why the option is 0, that is option D. Next question. Question number 32. A dipole is placed in uniform electric field E at an angle theta. For what value of theta, torque on dipole is maximum? Options A 0 degree, B 45 degree, C 90 degree, and option D 30 degree. So the answer is option C, that is 90 degree. Next question. Question number 33. An electron enters an electric field with its velocity in the direction of electric lines of field line. Then, option A, the path of the electron will be a circle. The path of the electron will be parabola. The velocity of the electron will decrease just after enter, and the velocity of the electron will increase just after enter. So the answer is option C, that is the velocity of electron will decrease just after enter, because electric field move from positive to negative end, and electron goes in the direction of the negative direction, so the velocity of the electron will decrease just after enter. Next question. Question number 34. Gauss law is given by epsilon naught into integration of closed surface E dot ds is Q. If net charge enclosed in Gaussian surface is 0, then E on the surface must be 0. Incoming and outgoing electric lines are equal. There is a net incoming electric lines, and option D, none. So the answer is option B, that is incoming and outgoing electric lines are equal. Next. Question number 35. When charge is given to a soap bubble, it shows option A, an increase in size, option B, sometimes an increase and sometimes a decrease in size, option C, no change in size, option D, none of these. So when charge is given to a soap bubble, it shows an increase in size, that is option A, due to repulsion of charges. So the answer is option A, an increase in size. Next. Now comes to the second part, that is fill in the blanks. So the question number 36, the expression Q is equal to NE is due to dash of electric charge. So Q is equal to NE is due to quantization of electric charge, where N is an integer and E is the base unit, that is minimum value of charge, which is 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 coulomb. Next. Question number 37. A silk cloth rubbed with a glass rod has a charge Q is equal to minus 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb. Then the charge on the glass rod will be, the answer is Q is equal to 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb. So it is plus. Next. So the next question, question number 38, an electric dipole is placed inside uniform electric field. When it is rotated from unstable equilibrium to stable equilibrium in a uniform electric field, its potential energy, option, its potential energy dash. So the answer is decreases, because in stable equilibrium your energy is minimum and in unstable equilibrium your energy is maximum. Next. Question number 39. 2 point charges are separated by some distance in vacuum. When space between charges is filled with some dielectric, the force between 2 point charges dash. So the force between 2 point charges decreases when we fill the vacuum space with some dielectric medium. So it decreases. The answer is decreases. Next. So the question number 40. Net electrostatic field inside a positively charged conductor is dash. So inside a conductor, the electrostatic field is 0. Next question. Question number 41. 2 point charges 1 coulomb each are separated in vacuum and placed 1 meter apart from each other. The force acting between them is dash. So the answer is 9 into 10 to the power 9 Newton. Next question. Now question number 42. Direction of electric field intensity due to a dipole on equatorial point is dash to the direction of dipole moment. So the answer is opposite to the direction of dipole moment. On equatorial line, your direction of electric field and direction of dipole moment, they are opposite. And on axial line, electric field and the direction of dipole moment both are in the same direction. Next question. So question number 43. Net charge within an isolated system always remains constant. It is called as law of dash of charge. So the answer is conservation of charge. We know that in an isolated system, the net charge is 0. So it is conservation of charge. The property is conservation of charge. Next question number 44. Electric force acting between two charges along with magnitude of charges and separation between them depends upon the dash between them. Electric force acting between two charges along with magnitude of charge and separation between them depends upon the medium, because that force is equal to what? 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught q1 q2 upon r square. So it depends upon the magnitude of charges, r, that is the separation between the charges, and the third is epsilon. Instead of epsilon naught, suppose it is epsilon, so it depends upon the medium between them also. Next question. Question number 45. An electric dipole is placed inside uniform electric field. Net dash on it is always 0. So an electric dipole is placed inside uniform electric field. Net dash on it is always 0. So the answer is force. Because in uniform electric field, we know that force is QE. So that QE is in the positive and negative direction. One direction it is plus QE and in opposite direction it is minus QE. So the net force is 0. It is always 0 in uniform electric field. Now question number 46. Two identical metallic spheres of exactly equal masses are taken. One is given a positive charge q coulomb and the other an equal negative charge. Their masses after charging are different. True or false? So when they are charging, their masses are different. It is true, because the one which loses electron become positively charged, and the one which gain electron, when we charge, one object is become positive charge and the another will become negatively charged. So the negative charge means what? That it gain electron and electron is having some mass, so their masses after charging are different. Next question. Next question, number 47. Is it possible that flux from an imaginary closed surface is zero, even when electric field on the surface is non-zero? True or false? Yes, so the answer is true, because if we for an example, if we put a dipole in a closed surface, so the net electric field on this surface, the flux on that surface is zero, q upon epsilon naught. So q is net charge. So net charge is zero when we place a dipole in that surface. So it is true. Next question. Question number 48. The electric force between two charges changes if we bring a third charge closer to them. True or false? So the answer is false, because the force between two charges remains the same by superposition principle. The charge on these two charges on first due to second, and charge on force on second due to first, and force on first due to second, it remains the same. So it is false. Next question. Question number 49. Charge on a body can have any value greater than 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb. True or false? So the answer is false, because we know that Q is equal to plus minus NE, where N is an integer and E is the base unit. So it is not any value greater than this. It is not 1.5 E. It is N is an integer where N is 1, 2, 3 and so on. So the answer is false. Next question. So this is the last question for today's session, that is question number 50. Electrostatic force at a point due to multiple charges is equal to algebraic sum of forces due to all charges at that point. Yes, so the answer is false. Why it is false? Because here it is what? Electrostatic force at a point due to multiple charges is equal to algebraic sum. But it is not correct. It is vector sum of forces due to all charges at that point. So it is false. The answer is false, because here it is algebraic sum. Instead of algebraic, suppose there is a vector sum, then it is true. But here it is written algebraic sum, so it is false. Thank you.
बहुत धन्यवाद हमारे चैनल पर आने के लिए, अपना इस वैल्यूबल टाइम स्पेंड करने के लिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आपका। और निश्चित रूप से भविष्य में भी आपके साथ इस तरीके का कोलैबोरेशन हमारा जो है वो होता रहेगा। बहुत अच्छी तरीके से आपने एक्सप्लेनेशन दी है हर टॉपिक की, और बहुत ही स्मूथ वे में जो भी टॉपिक्स थे उनको एक्सप्लेन किया है। तो उस पर्टिकुलर टॉपिक से रिलेटेड जो भी बच्चों के डाउट्स रहे होंगे, डेफिनेटली उन डाउट्स में अब गुंजाइश नहीं रह गई है। सो थैंक यू सो मच। नाउ वी आर क्लोजिंग इट। थैंक यू वन एंड ऑल।